Hello one and all, I, Mrs. Archana Said, Assistant Professor, Computer Engineering Department, AISSMS IOIT. Today I am going to represent a topic based on classes and objects in C++ object-oriented programming. So today's topic of discussion is classes and objects in C++. Before going into the actual details, let's begin with the course objective and the outcomes of today's video lecture. So the course objectives are to explore and understand principles of object-oriented programming, that is C++, in this course, the use of object-oriented paradigm in program design, that is application development, and to lay the foundation for advanced programming. So these are the course objectives. So for today's lecture, at the end of topic, we will be able to analyze the strengths of object-oriented programming. So the outcome will be to analyze, students will be able to analyze the strengths of object-oriented programming. So having understood the objective and outcomes, let's begin with the lecture. The concept of class in object-oriented programming is C++ class is nothing but the building block of any object-oriented programming language. What it constitutes, the C++ class constitutes its own data members, the set of data members, and the behavior. In case of programming language, it is called as member functions. These data members and the member functions are accessed by creating the variable of a class in the main function. It is also called as an instance of a class. So how does a class looks like? Let me take an example. If you take a class as a vehicle, so vehicle is an entity which has these properties. A vehicle has a model, it has a color, it has a registration number. So in case of programming language, these are called as the data members. And how the vehicle behaves, it can move forward, it can move backward, or by applying brakes, it can be stopped. So this behavior is nothing but the member functions in case of C++ programming. So the collection of data members and member functions tied together as a single entity is called as a class in case of object-oriented programming. Let's take an example. Suppose a car is a class which has these members, year, make and model. So what are the different real life objects? The objects can be these many cars which we can see on our roads. So this is a real life example of class and its corresponding objects. So how the class can be specified in CPP program? The syntax is, you need to give a keyword class, meaning after this keyword whatever you write is a class name. So class name is any user defined variable name which should not have any space in between. The underscore you can give. Whatever you write within this opening and closing brackets followed by semicolon gives you the contents of class. So the example can be class student. Student is a class name. The variables are student ID, student name, and the member functions which are associated with each student. Each object of a student class are read data and print data, meaning you can collect the data of various students and you can display the data of those many students. So this is one of the examples of class. The class member variables and member functions are accessible or it is restricted outside its declaration is dependent on the visibility criteria. And in CPP, this visibility criteria is called as access specifiers. So mainly 3 access specifiers are there in CPP, that is public, private and protected. and if you do not give or specify explicitly which of these criteria, then the default is taken as private access specifier. So public access specifiers, if you mention, then the class members are accessible outside the class through main function. Private is not directly accessed outside the class, and protected is not accessed outside the class, but it is accessed through its derived class in case of inheritance. So with the help of program, we'll see in detail what is mean by these public, private and protected access specifier in detail. So this is the class specification, class student, which is having the data member as student ID and student name, wherein the behavior we have written as read data and print data. So how to access these class members outside the class? That is by means of class variable, or it is also called as instance of a class. So how do we create the instance of a class? It is by giving the class name and the user defined variable name. So if I say student st, so st is an object of class student. So each st or each object which we are going to create is associated with the member variables, and it is having the access to the all member functions. So this is what is mean by class object. So as many as class objects you can create by giving on the separate line, or you can create the number of objects separated by comma, meaning I can say student st1 comma st2 comma st3, or this can be the way of representation or way of creating the different objects of a same class. So if I create 3 classes, then how it can be represented in the pictorial format? Student ID, name, and this object is accessible, is having access to the member functions. So every of these object is having the access to the member functions. So having understood the concept of objects, we'll proceed for the array of objects. In case of objects, at the most one data element you can store at a time, meaning if I go to st1 object can store one roll number, one student name at a given moment, at a particular moment. But if you want bulk of students under the one name, then it can be implemented using the concept of array of objects. So the several objects of the same class can be declared as an array, and it can be used just like the integer array declaration. So we'll go for the syntax. So the syntax is student, that is class name, followed by variable name, and how many records you want to store under this name, that you need to mention in the opening and closing square bracket. It is called as the number of elements that you can store in a object. So if you want to see the memory map, how it can be stored, it will be stored like s of 0, s of 1, so on up to s of 7. So starting from 0 to 7 indices, in all total 8 records it can store, and each of this record will have the value, distinct values for roll number and name, and this object can have the access to these functions read data and print data, and this is going to be repeated for each of these objects. So this kind of declaration is called as array of objects. So the difference between the normal object or single instance and in the array of objects is, single instance can store one data at a time or a single data at a time for a given moment, wherein in case of array of objects you can store the multiple data values at distinct memory locations. So how do we refer the data members inside the class? It is simply give the variable name. It is similar for array of objects, just by giving st underscore id, that is student id. And if you want to access outside the class, then by using object name you have to refer. So if you want, if you have declared suppose a public variable, and if you want to access it through main function, then in main you will create an object of a particular class, and that object dot variable name will be used to access the members of a class outside the class. Using array of objects, as it is array, the single element of an array is referred by the array index operator. So this is st of I dot member variable name. Now let's proceed for the member functions, or in general way the behavior of the class. It is accessed through the member functions. The general syntax is return type, function name, and the list of parameters. List of parameters is optional. It is actually based on the application whether you want to pass the parameters or you do not want to pass the parameters. And the actual function definition, which is called as function body. If it is enclosed in opening and curly braces, this total structure is called as a function definition. So this is how we can define the function. So prototype, before any function is called, the reference of that function should be given to the compiler, and that has been given by function prototype and function definition. So if I want to define a particular function outside the class, then it has to be defined in this way: a return type, a class name, followed by scope resolution. This scope resolution is going to tell to the compiler that the function name or this function belongs to the class name which you have given as a class underscore name. Then list of formal parameters, followed by function body or function definition, the executable statements. So how do we access the function name, or how do we give a call to function? Using an object dot the function name. So this dot operator is used to access either the member function or the member variable. In both cases the dot operator is used. So st is the object name, read is the function name, and this function does not carry any parameter, so just opening and closing braces, empty parameters. And if you want to go for array of objects, then object of I dot read. So this is all about the concept of objects, classes, member variables and member functions. So as I said at the beginning of the lecture, the outcome of this lecture will be to analyze the strength of object-oriented programming. And encapsulation is one of the basic properties of object-oriented programming, and C++ class gives this property because it is the essential building block of C++ as object-oriented programming, which is used to bind the data members and member variables together as a single entity. That is nothing but encapsulation. These contents I have referred from these two reference books, E. Balaguruswamy and Herbert Schiltz, C++, the complete reference. Thank you.